is up? I hope y'all are having a great day. It's Friday. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. It's cool for most people. This is actually more like the beginning of my week. Restaurant biz, you know how it is. If you're in there, you know. If not, well, you probably still know anyway. So, anyway, let's get it in. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. Price action, Bitcoin. Man, I hope what we talked about in the last video a few days ago, earlier in the week, on Monday, is kind of coming to fruition thus far. It's still too early to tell for sure, but we were looking for a pumpity pumpsin up above the new high, and if it did immediately reject, would be a little bit concerning with the ETF hype. And I was just kind of thinking, if that does happen, that might be a little bit of a sign of some extra super FOMO, and this being a sell the news type of an event. And we did get another ETF today too. I don't know, man. It's definitely not my favorite setup for Bitcoin bulls doing this. We're still well above, that 57,000-ish area, which is kind of the line in the sand, just off real basic price structure. So that's okay. But I will say, I don't like that Bitcoin is already given up its all-time high. It would have been much better if we could defend that a little bit. Now, is it nitpicking a little bit? Possibly, because we are just right here on the 10 simple on the daily. Let's zoom in a little bit. Alright, so here's something that's interesting on the lower time frames, which I consider the 458, which is roughly an 8-hour to be that. And, sorry, hit my mic there. And what I don't like about this for bulls is that we are getting comfortable below the 21 EMA. That has not happened since this rally started all the way back down in the 40,000s when we broke this trend line back over here right on the beginning of the month. So that is a change in behavior that we definitely need to make note of and move forward with. This isn't the best sign of strength for the bulls. Now, it is just today and a few candles, but it's definitely noteworthy because it has not even happened for one candle on an open and close basis this entire trend. So pressure seems to be building up a little bit. I would not be surprised to see a really big flush out this weekend, like maybe Saturday night, because you know how the bears love to smash on price action on Saturday nights for some reason, and like way early into Sunday morning. I don't know, I've just kind of noticed that pattern for a while. But anyway, so that's the only concerning thing I have for bulls, is that we are kind of losing momentum. And the 8-hour or the 458 as I use is definitely no BS time frame. It's not like a 3-hour or a 1 hour or something. But even on the 3-hour, you can see we're actually starting to breach the 55, which hasn't happened this whole rally, and we are below the mama. So even with the 3-hour, that's about as low as I'll go. And then I pretty much skip all the way to the 7-minute crack time frame. One thing I do see on this crack time frame is this is a little bit of an H pattern. If it does hold here at about 60K, a little over 60K, and we clear 61.3, we probably run at least half back on this, which is about 62,000, somewhere in the 62,000 handle. Definitely could see that happening. I'm sorry, not half back. I'm talking about a 618. I don't really care about halfback. That's not even a real fib number anyway. But regardless of that, something interesting. That's on the crack time frames, though. But on the higher time frames, just a little concerning there that we are breaching the 21, which we have not done this entire rally. Let's see. Let's get the... Still looks okay on all the... we are losing a little bit on the daily here. I guess technically yesterday we did lose the momentum, and we are getting some follow-through there. So that does kind of suck a little bit for the bulls. And I've been real skeptical of this rally anyway. Just so much hype behind the stupid ETF that's based off... I went on a real big rant on the last video about that. So you can listen to that if you want. I'm not going to do it again. But in short, it's just like, it's a derivative on a derivative it's a derivative on a derivative that's based off a derivative. So it's like, and it's going to decay like crazy. It's not a good vehicle. People think you can hold this asset long term in their IRAs. They are grossly mistaken, and they will wake up with losses. About 90-something% chance of that happening. And just for a quick reference, something like USO is based off of this. It's a garbage-ass ETF that does the same thing using futures roll. VIX is like that, the VXX. And look at this thing. I mean, you can't hold it because of the contango in futures. If you don't know what contango is, it's the cost to carry the futures contract. Nothing is free in this world, so I'm not going to go into a whole rant about that, but look up contango and cost of carry, do a little research, you can figure that out. Or the last rant I did on the video prior to this one on Monday, I went into quite a bit of details on that at the beginning of the stream. But yeah, I mean, so it's just going to decay slowly and slowly. VXX is the most crazy one. Then you can see this, just death forever. Here, I'll fix it. Oh, look, it's actually the best chart ever, see? Look. Anyway, so contango is real. VIX is probably an extreme example. Although, you know, Bitcoin does have quite a bit of volatility in it. But VIX has a pretty high cost to carry. It's about, I believe, $1,500-ish a month just to hold long VIX. So if VIX doesn't ever pop that time, you're just paying to hold to be exposed. And that's what this BitO thing is going to do as well. So you're much better off if you're, and this isn't financial advice, I don't know anything, I'm retarded. So you're much better off holding, or I'm much better off holding GBDC in an IRA if you do want to use an IRA or whatever. Because that won't decay like... It's actually a trust. It won't decay. It's not based on futures rolling like BitO is. And you already can see this thing is getting a little bit monkey hammered. So that's my shorter version of the rant there. So I don't really like that. This is setting up kind of exactly what we were talking about on Monday with this, like a sell the news type event. And it's October bullishness. We're at the end of October. If you're in the moon cycle crap, we just flipped onto the moon cycles too. I don't know if that means anything. People go crazy about that shit. You put up the moon cycles. It's like, oh my god, look at the moon cycles. It's amazing. And to be fair, it does have some pretty interesting pivot points. You can kind of just look back in history on this. I mean, it is kind of weird. I don't really know what to make of that. I don't know if it's random or... some crazy conspiracy with the moon people. I don't know. But anyway, so Doobie, this weekly close is going to be really important for futures. Let's move on to futures. If we close like this is going to be really ugly. I will not like this close at all. That will be a rejection from the all-time high. Shooting star doji, double top. I mean, that's kind of a lot of things weighing on there. And that would not be too sexy, but... just pure price action, there is one line of defense against all the tops of these candles, which is at about upper 5,000s, upper 50,000s, about like 59K, give or take $500 or so. Seems to be a pretty good support area. So this might turn into a buy the dip opportunity. We'll have to kind of see how that rolls out on these lower time frames. But the futures I do put more weight on. In this weekly close, we only got 2.5 hours left. This weekly close would not be very sexy. So we'll kind of just have to wait and see what happens with that. All right, Ethereum, kind of same thing. It's even doing it on spot price. Would like it to close above this on the weekly. This still does have 2 days because it's not futures. Let's hop over to futures real quick. We got this guy kind of just trending on the trend line. We are coming back to test it, so this could just be a retest of the trend line breakage on futures. The only thing, this is not a sexy candle for follow through to the upside. Shooting star rejection candle from the bears there. So that's not the sexiest candle, but you know, it doesn't have confirmed follow through to the downside yet, and I really wouldn't call that confirmed until we close a daily below like 38.50-ish or so. Let's go back to spot price, zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so interestingly enough, Ethereum is actually looking a little bit better than Bitcoin. It's showing a little bit more relative strength, which is kind of funny because Bitcoin was taking the cake and has been taking the cake for most of this month. But now it looks like Ethereum is saying, hey, hold up, dog. I got this. And we are on the spot just coming up over the daily. Little consolidation over here before the sell-off. It looks like we oh, wow, the bodies went right to the damn previous all-time high close on a closing basis. But that's okay. Usually you don't go through it right away, so this is right above the 10 simple. Funny enough, Ethereum does look a little bit better than Bitcoin. That's interesting. Would like to see this level get defended. The 3,800 handle really needs to get defended. And even above like 3,850 kind of. Not even just the whole handle, but 3850-ish would be very nice if bulls could defend that level, and I would probably look for some continuation if they do that, especially over the weekend. Maybe we can see in the next week or so. Up here at this target we've been eyeballing for a while at the upper 4,000 range. That would be pretty wild. 4,800 Ethereum. Woo. All right, so interesting there. Also, same thing with Litecoin coming back to retest the breakout. So that's not terrible. These very well could be turning into reaccumulation and buy zones. So, I might have to think on that a little bit after I sign off and see how this daily candle closes. All right. Let's keep fanning through these, see what's up. XRP is really just boring as hell. I mean, it's like a damn 7-cent range. This chart doesn't suck per se, but it is boring as hell. It is boring AF, dude, all the way through. As long it's the same shit as the videos for the last damn 2 weeks. As long as it's holding about 1.5, 1.6, it's okay. And until it really gets above 114 on an open and close candle, it's just whatever. It's just kind of going sideways, chop, neutral fest. So nothing really to add on to that. XLM was really sexy back over here. We got the pop. Now we're just consolidating on top of the consolidation, so that's cool. Stair stepping up. Don't hate that by any means. Let's zoom out a little bit. Major resistance here on the weekly at 38, 39 pennies. Really got to clear 40 cents open and close on a daily. And then if we did that, I would probably look for a pretty good extension on this, maybe to about mid 40s, about 45-ish would probably be the target there. So setting up fairly well on XLM. ETC, man, another rejection. This thing can just not get going. Look at this tight range. This whole month, this thing has been in a 10% range. Whenever it breaks out of this, it's going to move real quick. Upside, you're probably targeting the underbelly of this trend line, and downside, probably close to this horizontal here. So pretty easy read. Just kind of hurry up and wait. And there's no good edge. Oh, well, actually, hold on. Let me take that back. We do have bulls trying to gain dominance off of this candle, although they didn't get any follow through. Just looking at the oscillator there. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so, I mean, this is okay. Bulls are attempting to make themselves known here with this price action. They really got to hold 52.60-ish. They can do that. Hey, man, we might be targeting up here at the underbelly, but right now, just kind of meh. Dot continuing to ride up the 10 simple, very nice. It does look like it wants to hit this $50 range. I mean, this chart's been looking really good for the last few weeks. So not too bad. Dot. In a bearish case, we don't want to leave that off because we don't want to be blind here. You got to prepare, not predict. So anything back below 39 bucks, I'd start to question the strength of the bulls. ADA, Jesus Christ, could it go more sideways? I don't think it could. I mean, obviously it can, but I mean, it's just super squeezed. We got this massive ascending triangle here. Or, I'm sorry, not ascending. A symmetrical triangle here formed, just going. And I'm just not, I mean, this is almost at the apex. I'm not front running this. There's no way, because that's 50-50 shot, man. I mean, maybe it's like 53% bullish or something just because we're above this 207. But, I mean, we're below daily 21s, getting worked, respected. The mama's getting respected. So, yeah, I'm not front running none of that. I will take a trade if we do get confirmation on some of this breakout, which we will, or breakdown, which we will here soon enough. Probably, I would think by the end of this month, but crypto's crazy. Sometimes it'll just go sideways in these triangles and break out. It's pretty wild. Linky Poo, what's Linky Poo doing? Man, we're getting a vol flash on some pumping. This thing might be getting ready to come back and test 36 bucks or like mid 30s. Actually, pretty interesting chart here on Link. Yeah, this is actually kind of nice. I'd say above 28 bucks. This looks pretty good. I might scoop some of that, but I do have a couple other ones that I like better that a buddy of mine brought up. Let me go pull them up real quick. I know one was Eve. I do like that one better. Let's see. And Matic was another one. So we'll go to those here in a second. EOS, Chop Fest, like ADA right in the middle of the range. I mean, it can't be more in the middle, so just meh. Bulls have a slight advantage above 420-ish, but that's about it. BCH. I kind of do like this BCH. I liked it Monday, and now we've got all the oscillators, EMAs, everything structured for the bulls on the daily, so that's pretty sweet. I do like that. I do like that when this broke, it could not even get below the upper third of this price action on this trend line. That is also pretty sexy. Let's see here. Weekly. What's the weekly be saying? The weekly be saying there's a lot of resistance at 700. But, you know, this looks good. I love these slow drifts like this after a pump. I really like these. I think just staying above 600 on this for a little bit longer, it's probably going to get a little pop to the upside. So maybe people can remember Roger again at some point, but probably not. All right. BSV still trying to get sexy time, kind of breaking this trend line, but it's still hovering at the upper end of this range, and especially this big candle here. So that's not super terrible. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, bulls are still holding on above about 163, so maybe BSV is going to get some love. Really need to see a close on the daily above like 177-ish. That would get me a little bit more excited for this chart. Because outside of that, we're kind of just like grinding down slowly. The bulls are trying right here on these couple days, trying to get above all this consolidation, but we're unable to do so and got immediate rejection yesterday. So they do need to step it up pretty soon here. Or it does kind of look like we might be coming back down to like 150s. XMR, what are you doing? Oh my God, it's still banging on this trend line. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, you sumbitch. What are you going to do here? 458's trying to reset, but man, it's just not quite there. Really need to open and close above this stupid trend line. We are holding on to this little mama saucer, which is this purple line. If you're new, but man, yeah, damn it. Come on, let's go, Bulls. Not Brandon, but Bulls. And closing above 275 on the daily probably gets this thing going. And I would look for, you know, close to 300 at first, because there's still quite a bit of overhead resistance on XMR, but that would start to build up the case pretty nice for bulls on this. Let's see. ZC has been pamping. Broke this little trend line right here early in October. Came up, retested the breakout candle, and got continuation. Very lovely chart for Zcash. Zcash, that's a lot of zzz in there. Let's zoom in a little bit. Well, maybe if my internet wants to work. There it goes. Oh, Zen. Yeah, we'll go look at Zen. How you doing, Mr. Up at Down? Up at Down. It's a funny name. All right, so Zcash, we're just kind of cruising up this guy. We got a very aggressive trend line. I think that's pretty damn strong, to be fair. I wouldn't even be concerned about this unless it lost the 145-ish area, but it's looking pretty damn good. Here, we'll jump over to Zen real quick for you. I haven't looked at that one in a while. Let's go. We want Coinbase. No, we're going to go Binance. Oh, I like this one. Okay. Well, let's see if weekly's got confirmation. I don't like it's not very liquid. You can see lots of 10% wicks and tails on here. Let's see if that's just a Binance issue. Let's go to Coinbase. No, it does look to be across the board, so it's a little bit more thinly traded. Let's go to one more place. How about OKX? OKX has a little bit tighter markets. When does that ever happen? OKX being tighter. But anyway, let's put some horizontals down here. 10, 16, 26. Except I'm not pushing the right damn button here. Maybe let's try this again. Damn. I really like these little setups on EMAs when they first start opening up. It's like the blossom. I don't know. I need to come up with a term for that. It's blossoming here. It's springtime for the EMAs. I actually really like this chart, man. This is a good find. I would have never probably looked at this unless you mentioned it. Appreciate the look there, dude. Yeah, I like this, and that's what's cool about, you know, when people put their minds together. There's so many damn tickers. We can't look at all of them. I don't care how long you look at charts. I've looked at charts for pretty much a whole damn day, and you still miss stuff. Let's see. A 618 from this big consolidation is about where we're at, man, which is right where mama is. So we get a daily open and close above like 90 bucks. This thing is probably running to 100, 110 fairly easily. And concerns for bears, anything back below about $80. If we start closing lower time frame candles below 80 bucks, I'd start to get a little bit concerned on this one. But nice find, man. I'm actually going to add that to my crypto watch list. Very nice. That's not the right one. What am I doing? Over here. Come back over here. Oh, there we go. Not too shabby, sir. All right. Oh, what do you got? XLE. Oh, okay. We can do that one too, sir. Let me go through, finish these cryptos real quick. Let's see. Dash is trying to reset. It actually looks pretty good above 185. So Dash looks okay above 185. Back below that, meh. And you do have overhead resistance at about 220, 210-ish. So kind of a tight range. Doge just hovering on the Bitcoin pairing. Lost 24 cents again. That sucks. After an engulfing candle yesterday. Bears are reasserting dominance on this pump right here. So that sucks for Doge. It really was trying. Although, let's not give it too much credit because it was only up there for 2 days before giving it up. So, come on, Doge Bulls. What are you doing with your life? Hex just continuing to just flutter down here. I mean, price accepting sub 33 cents is not sexy. So, I don't see anything that I like about Hex coin right now. Yeah, bears have a lot of dominance on the medium-low time frames. All right, we'll jump over to XLE real fast. That good old energy action. So we've loved energy on the show for a while, off of the oil chart back over here, breaking out, retest the trend line right here, breakout zone. I mean, this is super, super sexy. I took a lot of my trades off, though, when we hit about 77 bucks. Oh, come on, wake up, other computer. Don't you sleep. You know, sleeping on the job. Oh, but man, I mean, and now we're consolidating above this 82 horizontal, which is the major resistance. And if you're in linear as well, is it? Oh, no, wow, I'm sorry. It's way lower. My bad. Misremembered that. But yeah, so very interesting here. This still looks bullish as F on this, but you wanted to see XLE. Sorry. I like XLE above 56.5, like 56.5 looks fine. Let's zoom out a little bit because this chart is been around for a while. Oh man, let's go to the monthly actually. Not really getting much off the monthly. Weekly also agreeing with that 55 halfback level. So as long as it's above 55.5, it looks pretty good. And I mean, really just using oil is probably a good one. The one thing that I don't like about this chart is we're just going sideways for the last week. That's not like the sexiest price action. Let me put my horizontals on here. I'm surprised they are not on this chart already. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it seems like we're getting a little bit of push and pull with bulls and bears up here. But hey, man, it's been respecting this 21 on the 3 hour very well. And so, hey, man, as long as we're above this right here, I still am going to use that 56 half. 56 half, and above that, it's fine. And anything daily close back above this nice little girthy candle at about 58 and a half probably gets some further continuation. And again, I do trade ETFs and stuff, but I will definitely be looking at oil to reference this guy. But not too shabby, man. All right, ES, what are you doing, ES? ES is back above 45. Jesus, mother effing Christ. This thing, you cannot keep a, what do you call it? You cannot keep a bull market down at all. They are, oh, crap, sorry, I hit the mic there. These guys are relentless bulls, that is. And now it's like, oh, just kidding, rally, just kidding, rally. We are getting a little vol flash, so maybe something to kind of take forward into next week. But, I mean, back above 4,500, like we were talking about earlier in the week, it looked like it wanted to stretch up there. We were watching this little W-type pattern on the Dow, and then we saw the Dow Jones pumping really hard, which is still, I mean, this is like a moonshot. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't recall the Dow Jones moving like this very often, like gap and go and just keep, I mean, this is like shitcoin, Bitcoin stuff, so pretty wild. As long as it's staying above 4,500, it looks good. Another suggestion to XLE. Yeah, because I guess oil is a really big contract. I mean, they actually have micros on oil. If you really wanted to trade energy direct from the commodity it's based on, and that is MCL. So let's go to the futures. You can see it. It's the micro oil futures contract. You can pull it up. Obviously, it's going to look just like oil. And so that's a good one. But if you wanted to stick with ETFs, I do have a nice list of ETFs over here. And you've got, let's see, let's go down to the energy. XOP is another really big traded one. I don't think it's as much volume. No, XLE has more volume on it by a good shot. And it's going to have way more volume than that. OIH is a big one too. Yeah, OIH is a decent one. But nah, you have the one that's traded the most already, man. If you like that one, and there's decent options and stuff. If you trade options, I mean, you've picked probably the best of the bunch on the ETF sectors there. The only one that I would, what me personally would do is trade the oil's futures contract, and you can do that. I mean, the regular one is very large, takes about $4,000 in margin to put it on, $3-4 depending on your broker. But I mean, some of them are lower, like the discount ones, but whatever. But MCL is only about $600, I believe. Let me go look real quick. I believe it's $600. Well, let's see. It might be more. I might be mixing it up with something else. Let me see. No. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it's like 8 and change. So, and those are dynamic. They're not static numbers. They do move depending on volatility and where the VIX is at and stuff like that. So, but yeah, but you know, it's less than $1,000. Most people can trade one of those. It's just if you have a small account, like really, really small, like less than, you know, a couple grand, you probably don't want to play with almost any futures contract because the leverage is very high and you don't want to lock yourself out and get trapped. Like if you, because you're going to take losses. Everybody takes losses. The best traders, it doesn't matter who you are. That's one of the only guarantees in trading is you will take losses. And, you know, you don't want to take losses. Maybe you get in a bad streak and you take 3 in a row and then it puts you below the margin requirements and you can't trade the futures anymore. So generally I like to use about a third rule. So if it cost, you know, let's just say $1,000 to put the trade on, you need to be having at least 3+ K in your account to not overextend yourself, and that way you can weather the storm a little bit. Anyway, I hope that helps out, man. Yeah, for sure, man. No problem. No dabbling in futures. Hey, I don't blame you. They're dangerous. They're very dangerous. I've definitely got my ass handed to me a few times for that. Oh, Russell, you little dog. All right. Anyway, let's see. Where were we at? We were on ES. ES looks fine above 45. Now, one thing I don't like about this chart is this shit is straight vertical. I mean, if we draw a line on this, look at this. It's pretty much like, it's like 4 clicks away from being straight up and down. It's okay, but a lot of times you have to be worried about throwbacks on these, but because we don't know what is going to happen in the future. We're all watching the same movie. As long as we just stay above this 4,500 and maybe even down to about 4,480, it's okay for the bulls, but this is very aggressive, and it matches up with this Dow Jones too. This is the one that's very odd to me. I asked a couple of my buddies that have been trading for a long time. They didn't respond yet before the show. But yeah, I'm like, dude, what is going on with Trans Index, man? Anyway, let's go to NASDAQ. NASDAQ is kind of chilling. Not near as strong as ES, but it is trying to get above the mama here. I'm still a little suspect of this price action until we really clear 15.5. And let's see how next week builds. Actually, let's see how this week's going to close. Not too bad. Back above the 10 simple, assuming we don't dump really hard in the next hour or so. But let's zoom in a little bit. Man. Yeah, not an easy read. Like, pumped. It was nice. I mean, this was great when it broke over here, got continuation, but now we're at the tops of the ranges, so it's kind of, this is no-go zone for me on NASDAQ. Oh, man, right up against this horizontal, too. Shit, man. I will say that the Dow does look pretty damn good. Last week's close was beast mode, and we're getting follow through, and assuming we don't dump like a couple hundred points before the end of the day, you know, I mean, this is actually pretty damn good. So Dow looking a lot better, which isn't, I guess, a super surprise with the transportation index also looking so damn good. Russell struggling at this trend line. One more again. How many times have we been up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, that many. 2,300 vol flash on the daily. This is very cautious. This is why I will not be holding trades into next week on indices, because I don't like when I see vol flashes like this, because these are direction neutral. It just means that a large move is likely to come here very soon, and so I'm going to wait for some more confirmation on that and see what happens. But otherwise, outside of just that, I mean, the oscillators and everything look pretty damn good. But we're just getting that resistance, man. And price action is king. Structure is king overall. I mean, because all this stuff is just based off price and volume anyway. So structure is always king. And so as long as we're kind of holding this little cluster right here above like 2260s, it looks pretty good. I just want a little bit more time for confirmation on this guy. And I guess you could say there is like a little W-type pattern right here. It's kind of a sloppier one. And let's just, for shits and giggles, if it did want to play on the conservative end, look at that. It's targeting the Fibonacci extension up here at 2,400. So we start getting a couple daily open and closes above this 2,300 pivot, I will start targeting 2,400, and I will start buying dips to this trend line in anticipation of that. Conversely, on the downside, though, we start losing back and get back close to 2240s. Then I'm going to really start questioning the bulls. Ultimately, though, you know, above 2230 handle, that's like the pivot point in the middle of this range on Russell that we've been in for pretty much a year now. So, yay. VIX getting mollywopped all the way down to the trend line. Pretty nasty. Nothing really to see there. It's not going to be on the 3-hour either. There's nothing really to see on the VIX. Man, getting barely defended by the 100 threshold on VVIX. So I'll have to see if we get any snapback up to the trend line, which is pretty common. But that doesn't mean anything. That could just be like a little 1% sell-off, which ain't shit. Oil, we already kind of did oil. Bonds, chilling on the lows here again. Man, this is kind of a tough read for me. I don't really want anything to do with this getting rejected off the 21. If bulls are going to step in at all and reverse this price action, they would have at least been able to get to the 55 or close to it, and they did not. So that's not super good, and you can see that in notes too, breaking this horizontal. This is actually really bearish below 131. Not a fan. TNX is continuing its run all the way to almost 170 up to the upper end of this box. This thing is relentless. And, of course, banks are kicking ass on that too. Although dollar doesn't seem to like it, so that's kind of an interesting divergence. Dollar not rallying, TNX rallying really hard. It's odd. It's odd. And Euro's rallying still a little bit. Not sure how to digest that. Need some more data on that one. We'll have to wait for next week. I'm just going to do a healthy dose of, I don't know, no edge. FDAX maybe could be flagging out right here as long as it stays above 15.4. But man, this is a kind of a funky ass chart right here. Right in the middle of the range. I ain't doing nothing with that. Plenty other things to trade. Nice retest on the trend line breakout. Kind of just hovering, but you can see the camel hump on the mama, which is the purple average here, is giving us lots of kind of resistance for now. Nothing really too sexy on that either. Kind of need some more data. Gold. Let's go, gold. Come on. You can see this 18, almost 20 level is the really, really major pivot point on gold. And we keep getting close to it and always get rejected from the last like couple of months when we get there. You can see over here 1820s rejection. Yeah, it goes up a little bit, but it's followed up by sellers immediately. Here. And even getting close to it this time, it got pulled. I mean, it was like immediate. This is where crack time frames come in, so you can kind of get granular on that price action. You can see it's like, oh, it's looking real good. This morning I was like, damn, are we finally going to get it? Nope, just kidding. So bears are saying, hey, you just need to keep chilling out. There's a lot of supply pressure up here. And let's go to the weekly. The weekly is trying to close over the EMAs, so that might be a little bit of a sign that we could be reversing trend here if we get follow through next week. And that's currently residing at about 1790-ish. I do like that bulls are trying to pump it back up here a little bit at the end of the day, and they almost are about to get dominance on the DMI, which I consider above 26, and the power zone for bulls. And accompanied with that, you're getting the bears shoved down into the weak zone. So pretty interesting on gold. I have loaded up on a little bit of gold. I bought some Hecla Mining. I bought some GDX. I exposed myself a little bit. Nothing too heavy yet. I want to see if next week we can kind of hold this little saucer pattern and continue to hold this horizontal here. And ultimately, also, we need to make a new closing high above 18 hundo. We get above 18 hundos, you know, we might start seeing gold print some tendies up. Silver, on the other hand, is looking way better. This silver chart is pretty phenomenal. Oh, damn, it's already 2. Shit, I got to go take care of some errands real quick. So I'm going to go some lightning speed. Oh, silver, very nice. I love this chart on silver. It is outperforming gold hardcore. We had this little kind of sloppy inverted head and shoulders pattern right here. You can kind of like bloop, 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 something like that, right? And we already kind of hit the target of that, but now we're staying above that target and above this horizontal, this pink one. I mean, this is looking pretty damn good. If we flip back to gold, you know, it's like a lot more sloppy and ugly. Silver's more like, hey, look, we're breaking out of this bottom thing. I like it. So very nice silver. This weekly, it would be nice if it took out all these EMAs, too, on this weekly. That would be very sexy, and we need to close above about 24.30 to do that. We did that. If we do that, I'd probably look for a test of the mama area, which is in the smack middle of all this business, about 26. And, you know, was this just a little hunt stop, get a bunch of people to sell, create some liquidity before a big run in gold and silver? It kind of smells like that to me, just a little bit. I mean, I am a little surprised that gold and silver has not rallied more with all the inflation talk and stuff, especially because gold is considered the, you know, the inflation hedge. Wow, Shiba, I just saw this, totally not related at all. It just was on my other screen. Shiba has perp futures. That's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy that Shiba's even like on Coinbase. They're like, oh, XRP, scam. Even though hundreds of banks use it. Total scam. Shiba coin? Dude. Legit. Changing the world. So silly. Crypto's a wild place, isn't it? Anyway, though, silver looking pretty damn sexy. I only would start to change my sexiness tone if we start closing and getting below 2380-ish. Platinum also looking nice. Look at this, coming right to this apex. This isn't the sexiest candle. I would not like it to close like this for bullish posturing, but market doesn't give a shit what I want. 3 hours zooming in, it's a little bit better. It's not a lower low. And it's not a lower low on the daily either. This is just kind of shooting star nastiness. But, man, everything else looks pretty damn good. And this is only one data point. You never want to use just one data point. And as long as they're kind of riding up this trend line, I think that platinum looks pretty sexy here. And, you know, the platinum gold ratio is only like 0.6. That's like super low. It's almost never been that low in history, in at least recent history. Because, you know, it's hard to get data like 100 years ago, pretty much. That's reliable. So, pretty nice. I like this. I think that gap will close. Usually, platinum's more expensive than gold. So, it's got a long ways to go if that pairs trade will work. So, you know, above 1020-ish is where I start to, or below 1020-ish is where I start to kind of question the bulls in this one. Palladium, whatever. It's trying to hover around here. It's kind of just nothing. Just consolidating right here. Hey, the longer it can consolidate here, the probably better it is for some bouncing. But all right, wrapping it up with Das Bitcoin. Das Bitcoin is selling off. Remember what we said earlier. Getting below the 21 on this 458. If you don't have custom time frames, you can just use an 8-hour or pretty much or 7-hour. That pretty much show you the same chart. We're getting below the 21. That's a change in price behavior. We haven't seen that literally since all the way down over here, back at mid 40s. So we got to carry that forward. That's not no bullshit. And this daily is about to close below the 10 simple, unless we rally really hard in the next 5 hours, which could easily happen. I mean, $1,000 in crypto land, that's nothing. Well, in Bitcoin land. But if it does close below here, I'd probably look for a move down to the 21 EMA, which is funny because that's into the 57,000 handle, which is like our big pivot point there. But this right here, you got to be a little bit careful, I think, on this one. I like it, but I'm hoping that this didn't do what I was thinking Monday, where we get to sell the news event, make a little incremental high, get everyone to FOMO their asses off, and get wrecked. So, yeah, we'll have to just see there. Ethereum, on a lighter note, looks a little bit better. It's actually showing a bit better. Can't talk here. Better relative strength currently. Bitcoin was taking the cake for most of the time, and now Ethereum is trying to do so. I do think that this looks a little bit better. I like it above about 38.50. So as long as we're above 38.50, not too shabby. And you could even go a little bit lower, kind of this little consolidation. But 38.50 is going to be kind of the little red light starts flashing for me. And conversely, it really's got to get back above this big spinning top doji with massive volume on it, which is at about 4180-ish. Let's look at this on daily. Also about 4180, like mid 4170s, whatever. I like to round up. This isn't science. It's definitely an art. So doesn't matter, especially on crypto. What does anyone care about? 2, 3, 4% on crypto? I don't think so. Pretty sure they don't. Anyway, that's I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Much love. Appreciate you joining us. Thanks for the questions. Up, at, down. Much love to everybody. I hope you'll have an amazing weekend and a great Friday. Take care, and we'll do a show probably not tomorrow, but I'll probably do one for Sunday for the weekly close. Because the weekly close, I think, is going to be pretty important. Oh, and on the weekly close, too, for futures, do keep an eye out. We don't want to close like this. This is kind of ugly. We'd really like to see bulls rally up and get back above 62, 62.3. That would look a lot most sexy. And same for Ethereum. Even though it has relative strength, it's like coming up to this trend line, these bodies, this body. It's kind of like, it's not like confirmed. Everybody thinks it's like, oh, breakout confirmed, mooning 80, 90, 1,000 million, whatever by the end of the year, but we don't have confirmation yet. One little attempt and candle close above it that's not even over the all-time high is not confirmation. That's how a lot of people get trapped and stuff, and including myself. I'm not immune to any of that. I have got burned many, many times doing stuff like that. And what I've learned over the years is that's why I reference open and closes a lot, because that gives a lot of time to digest it, and taking the open and close method just gets a lot of the noise out, and shakeouts prevents you from getting shaken out. There we go. I know English good, I swear. Damn Texas boys, we can't talk good. Anyway, open and closes, that's why it's very important. And on big trends like this, if we're talking 80, 90, 100, whatever it is, Ks way up here, this isn't even close to confirming that. Yeah, it looks great. It's not terrible at all. But for a confirmation of this being a breakout, you really need probably another couple of weeks of price action, and ultimately I want to see it open and close above 65K on the weekly. So that means the whole body for me needs to be above 65K. I see that, then you're going to start seeing me talk about 80,000, 100K, and to the moon and beyond, right? But we just don't quite have that yet. Front running and jumping in front of the train sometimes does not bode well for your P&L, that's for sure. Kisses back at you, bro. I'll see y'all later. Because otherwise, I just keep talking, man. I can't shut up. Some of my friends tell me all the time, too. Especially if it's about charts. That's my favorite damn thing to do, pretty much. Anyway, this has been your boy Z-Rex, No Noise. We signing off. Peace.